Hello, welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge, 6:17 a.m. Easter Sunday 2018. I can see daylight coming. We had a little problem with the newspaper. Only got half of it. None of the ads, coupons, the living section, business. I don't know what's going on and why it's separated. I hope they come with a second vehicle and drop off the second part of the paper. Anyway, that's none of your concern. This morning, we have two American blended whiskeys. We have Ancient Age Preferred blended whiskey. Now, this only showed up in Louisiana in the last year. I think at this time last year, say Easter 2017, you did not see it in Louisiana to my knowledge. I saw it in Texas. Now I was out in Texas, and I was in Fort Stockton, Texas, in fact. So I'm looking around at a liquor store, nice liquor store too. I went to two of them that night, on a Saturday night. And I'm looking around, la-di-da, and I saw a lot of neat stuff, but I said, my jaw dropped, I gasped. And that I've had times in the past where I've looked on the shelf and literally gasped at what I was seeing. And I said, Ancient Age Preferred, this black label, what is this, I didn't buy it because it was only so much I could get, but I said, I have a feeling I'm going to see this again. I like the finish on it. You can feel the letters. And I did start to see it about 6 months later in Louisiana. Then it showed up in this town. They sell it right there at Winn-Dixie. I can basically see Winn-Dixie from this window. But they only sell the big 1,750 milliliter bottle, which is very inexpensive, really. And but I bought this glass bottle at Ben Q. It used to be called Ben Q Liquors on Louisiana Highway 427 in Baton Rouge, Perkins Road. And Naz McNazik says, William Kepley, where are you at? Yeah, where is you at? We all asked that question. Now, you can look this up, but you're not going to find it on the Buffalo Trace website. You're not going to find it on the Sazerac website. Ancient Age Distilling, Frankfort, Kentucky, blended and bottled by Ancient Age Distilling. Didn't say distilled, so it's probably coming. The grain neutral spirits are probably coming from Lawrenceburg, Indiana. I know that's where they get their grain neutral spirits. The whiskey itself, the 20% straight Kentucky whiskey, is obviously coming from Buffalo Trace. And it's probably, what is it? Because Ancient Age is a 3-year aged. There's no age statement on this bottle. That's telling me the straight whiskeys in here are aged a minimum of 4 years. Oh, well, maybe they're using Ancient Age 10-star for this. Give it a little character when you got 80% unaged grain spirits. Okay, so the 10-star is a 6-year aged Ancient Age. But it's a good question. There's also a 90 proof Ancient Age, which is not listed on the website either. Whether it's the Buffalo Trace website, which does list all the bourbons that they make, and neither is it listed on the Sazerac website under blended whiskeys. There's no mention of this. It's very strange. No pictures of this black bottle. But this may have been on the market as long as the Ancient Age bourbon since 1936, because there's the liquor collection. They sell old unopened bottles of liquor of all sorts. And they have a very old bottle on there of Ancient Age. So, and it's a lot of money too. You say, it's just old blended whiskey. Got no value. Well, find a bottle that's 40 years old, and then you're going to see it has value to some people. They'll collect it. They'll buy it. Now, it may not have any value to us. There are collectors out there. Now, Albertsons whiskey, this brown bottle with the gold and white trim, it says since 1939. Well, they're not necessarily referring to the whiskey. They're referring to Albertsons grocery stores and Safeway and Vons and Jewel-Osco. Right here it says, we love to hear from our customers. I give you the 1-866-729-3722, bartonbrands.com. That's Sazerac. They bought Barton. You could call that number and ask them where to find Albertsons whiskey. They might be able to tell you. But it is very hit or miss. I have never seen this except for one Albertsons location, and that was Airline Highway US 61 southbound at the intersection of Old Hammond Highway 426, LA 426. So I just happened upon it. I looked and I said, another gasp, gasp. And it was $4.99. I mean, I was going to buy it. This was $8.99. You may be able to get it for $7.99 in some New Orleans stores. Okay. So, okay. I got to make sure here. Albertsons. And AA, Ancient Age. What else to say? Like I said, I've been shopping for beer since 1996, and I've had jaw droppers, like walking into the grocery store in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and looking on the shelf and seeing a 6-pack of Colt 45. You say, well, Colt 45 malt liquor is not rare. Yeah, but I'm talking about Colt 45 lager beer with the burgundy and gold can. Find that. Or going into the liquor store in a very unsavory part of Baltimore, Maryland, let's say. Let's use those. We'll be careful here. And looking around and seeing a 6-pack of National Bohemian. You say, well, National Bohemian is common in the Maryland area. Yeah, but I'm talking about Natty Bo Ice. National Bohemian Ice. Natty Bo Ice. And I never saw anyone ever review it online except for myself, talk about it. It almost was like it doesn't exist, but I had it. There it was in my hand. I still have a can of it. Or one more thing, I could talk about this all morning, but going into a store in Baton Rouge, I believe it was Albertsons years ago, looking around, la-di-da, seeing Olympia beer. You say, that is sort of rare. Yeah. And Olympia Gold, I'm sorry, Olympia Dry is really rare. I saw Olympia Dry. I said, oh my goodness, I have to buy it. And seeing Coors Dry once in Bryan, Texas on US Highway 190. I'm looking around, Coors Dry beer. I said, ooh, I know I'll never see this again. And I was right, because I never did. And I never saw Olympia Dry again in my life. Oh, the Albertsons is darker. Is this the Albertsons? Yeah, it's darker. Look at that. That is a shade darker. This is more amber. This is more gold. So right off the bat, we have a difference. Will there be a difference in taste? Well, my first tasting of the Albertsons, which I posted yesterday morning, it tasted like nothing. What shined through, or what shone through, however you say that. Not the whiskey, the grain neutral spirits. It was like a glass of you see, there's nothing coming out of my mouth. That's what it was, like a glass of empty space. Wasn't anything bad. Didn't taste bad. It didn't taste. It didn't smell. It was like, did they just put coloring and not whiskey? Well, of course, they don't have coloring because it doesn't have it on the label. You can add coloring and flavor to whiskey, but it has to be disclosed. Now, there are exceptions. If you look on the guidelines, Tax and Trade Bureau guidelines, there are exceptions. They can add up to 2% blending sherry. Sherry wine. They call it blending sherry. Nah, you cannot go to a store and buy blending sherry, okay? That's one of those wholesale production commodities that huge companies buy by the tanker truck. So you're not going to go to the public supermarket in Tallahassee, Florida and say, give me a bottle of blending sherry. That's not going to happen. You're not going to go to Winn-Dixie in Jacksonville, Florida and say, I'd like to buy some brewer's syrup. And they don't have brewer's syrup. Now, you may find it at a homebrew store somewhere, but it's not like K-Row corn syrup, regardless of this idea that people have in their head, you see. Good morning from Miami, says Frederick. Good morning, Frederick. Jimmy says, what time is it over there? Oh, well, it's 6:27. So let's get this done because I have to go to church at 7:30. So here we go. Okay, not much there. More wood here. Not to say that the second aroma had a whole lot, but there's something. There could be some faint grain here, corn, obviously. It's all corn, but there's barley malt in here, and there's rye, but it's so small of an amount, you may as well not even mention it. Google time in Louisiana. Google time. Wow. Google time. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yes, it's early. Okay, so let's go with the taste. I'm trying not to glance because I know one is darker than the other. There's very faint grain here, okay? There is faint grain. There's sweetness. There's even wood and char and dried flowers and candy, fruitcake, all of these bourbon characteristics in corn and all. But it's so faint. It's so faint. It's so faint, which may appeal to some people because some people just can't stomach bourbon. It's too much of a presentation. And I'm starting to feel that way myself. Okay, over here. It's like candied corn. Yeah, Halloween, the candy corn. It has a little bit more flavor here, a little bit more char, a little bit more wood, but it's not remarkably more flavorful. Okay, so I was thinking, yeah, the Ancient Age is going to have a lot more character than the Albertsons, but I cannot sit here on the internet and say that really right now. Oh yeah, Frankfort, Kentucky. In Louisville. And they're probably just shipping it up the road, down the road, whatever, to Louisville and bottling it. I don't know. There's a huge facility in Louisville, apparently on Interstate 75 southbound, because there's a blended whiskey, which I plan to do next when I open a new bottle of. It's called 75 South. Well, Louisville, common sense, Interstate 75 southbound. It's probably where the distillery is, but I wasn't able to find it on a map. No, they don't want to talk about it. I think this is Ancient Age, and I think that is the Albertsons. But for $4.99, I mean, I'm not paying $8.99 for a 4-year age blended whiskey when I can pay $4.99 for a 4-year age blended whiskey, and the flavor is practically identical. And I'm a little shocked, but I think this is the Albertsons. I'm right. It has a little bit less flavor. And I mean a little bit, not a whole lot less. So I was able to tell them apart. It was a little tough for me. And I'm a little shocked because I thought it would be more pronounced. But you never know until you do a blind taste test. Like I was talking to Marvin over there, with Arkansas Beer Reviews, and he says, yeah, people think these blind taste tests are easy until they try them, and then you find out it's not so easy. And a lot of the things you believe before are not that true. Daryl E says, Black Rifle coffee for me right now. Cheers. Yeah, I just drank 3 cups of coffee earlier, and then I ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It was pretty good too. That bread was good. I wonder who makes the Great Value white bread for Walmart. It's got to be a good high quality bakery because, and it could be around here, it could be the one in New Orleans East, Bunny Bread or whatever, whoever, that big bakery there. They all do, I mean, you know, obviously Walmart is all contract stuff, so their coffee's probably coming from Folgers in New Orleans, because both Folgers coffee plants are in New Orleans. You look on the Folgers website, that's where their coffee mill is. The one on Old Highway 90, Old Gentilly Road, the specialty plant where they make all their expensive specialty brands, many of which are owned by Folgers, but you don't know that. You see what I mean? You say, I don't drink Folgers, I trash. I drink this gourmet coffee. Yeah, but did you ever research who owns it? And then they have their main plant right at the industrial canal on Old Gentilly Road also, but right at US 90 and Interstate 10, right where they all come together. And it's huge, and you could smell the coffee all around that part of New Orleans. I mean, you wake up in the morning, you go outside, you go smell coffee. You can sit at the University of New Orleans baseball game and smell the coffee, and it's a wonderful smell, that fresh roasting coffee. And then the bread you see coming from Bunny Bread Bakery, or whatever the real name of the bakery is. It says Bunny Bread, you know, on the outside, but you know, it's obviously owned by some other company. Anyway, and so then we have these. This is an actual brand, Ancient Age Preferred. It's a brand of blended whiskey. Okay, and then we have a private label brand, Albertsons, store brand whiskey, only sold by Albertsons or Vons or Jewel-Osco or Safeway or all their other myriad grocery chains. But it'll all be sold as Albertsons because they're the big owner. They own the rest, and then somebody owns them. Cerebus Holdings, a holding company. So people that go into Vons might think, oh, I never heard of this company. I never heard of this distilling company, Albertsons. Well, it's not, you know, it's a store brand. But anyway, we have the same thing here. We have Winn-Dixie brand bourbon, Winn-Dixie brand scotch, Winn-Dixie brand gin, rum. All of that stuff says WD, all Winn-Dixie, and it's all made by, you got it, Sazerac, Buffalo Trace. That's who makes it. You go to Walmart, they've got Caliber. Caliber, that's the name of it. Gin, rum, Canadian whiskey, so on and so on. It says Caliber. Vodka, right? Caliber vodka. It's all made by, what is it called? IBC Distilling Company. I don't know what IBC stands for, but if you do some research, you find out, oh, it's Sazerac. It's the same people. I'm starting to think that Sazerac and Buffalo Trace make more money off of contract distilling than they make off their own stuff, because it must be incredible what the volume of the contract distilling is. And if you go to their distillery in Frankfort, Kentucky, I thought, well, it'd be a quaint distillery over there, you know. I just didn't know what to expect. I thought, you know, Buffalo Trace would be kind of a smaller type place. Oh, no. It's as big as Anheuser-Busch in St. Louis. It is incredible. It's huge, and you can only see part of it because they're not going to let you just wander around, but the tour is big, and then they only taking you on a small part of it, and then you can look and just see building after building after building in the background. It just goes on, and I mean, you just can't get over it. So this is a major operation, and it is connected to Louisiana in the sense that Sazerac is owned by Mr. and Mrs. William Goldring of New Orleans, a private company. It's owned by them personally. There's not a board of directors. There's not stockholders. It's just him. He and his wife who own it personally. And their headquarters is in Metairie, Louisiana. And they have big warehouses down here along US Highway 90, the Sazerac warehouses, where all the liquor is stored for probably Latin America and this part of the country. Because it's right where all the train tracks come in and the highways. And another thing, and it's a port, right? The ships coming in and out of the city in southeastern Louisiana. And one more thing, they're building the Sazerac Experience in New Orleans that's going to open in 2019, next year. It'll be a tour of all the brands. So you can take a tour. It's not a production facility, but you'll be able to take a tour and learn all about the Sazerac company, all their whiskey, bourbon, gin, their wine brands. They own a lot of sake and wine, plum wine, and all kind of stuff. And it'll be free because they never charge for a tour. It'll be free and you'll get free samples. So I'll go check that out. And if you check out Buffalo Trace and Barton 1792 Distillery, it's totally free. You don't pay anything, not even parking. Best value in the, one of the best values in the tourism industry, right? You know, totally free. And one of the best things to do on a vacation, go to those two distilleries. So thank you for watching this video production. Once again, I was a little shocked. Who wins? You could say that Ancient Age wins because it's marginally more flavorful. Marginally, from my little experience here. But you're paying $3 more a bottle. I'm not going to pay $3 more for a bottle of whiskey that's marginally more flavorful than the other one. It just, there's no value there. So you could say that it's a draw. Or maybe even when you factor in price, maybe Albertsons is slightly, you know, somewhat of the winner if you're not too picky. Frederick says $4.99 for how many ounces? 750. Well, they do it in milliliters, so it's 750 milliliters, but that would be 25.4 ounces. 25.4 ounces. 700. Oh, I'm sorry, that's 710, right? 710. Well, it's maybe 26 ounces. Yeah, 26 and a half, something. But I mean, it's 750 milliliters. I'm not sitting here calculating it, just guessing. It's a normal size liquor bottle, you know, regular bottle. $4.99. I mean, that's as cheap as it gets. There's no, I've never seen liquor this cheap or cheaper. I've seen Albertsons brandy for $4.99, Albertsons whiskey for $4.99, and wasn't there a third one? Can't remember, but so they have it priced. I mean, how could they, are they selling it for cost? It makes you wonder. But they said, well, it was on sale. Yeah, but it seemed like it's perpetually on sale. It's always on sale. You know, one of those kind of things at the store. And it could just be a loss leader, something to pull you in. And you go in there to buy it. And then you look around and you say, oh, let me get this, let me get that, you know, that kind of thing. So anyway, thanks for watching this video production. Everybody take care. And I'm going to answer questions and whatnot later. Got to go off to church soon. But I'll get to them. Thank you, folks.